Welcome to Lesson 8 of Month 6. Today we get practical about Microsoft 365 Copilot. You'll learn what it really is, how it grounds its answers in your organization's own data, and the hands-on Tier 2 work around it, licensing, security, and supporting the people who use it. This is squarely on the MS 102 exam map, and it's the kind of thing you'll be asked about in interviews, so let's dig in. Let's start with the big idea. Microsoft 365 Copilot is a large language model, an LLM, built right into the apps your users already work in: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and Teams. What makes it useful at work is something called grounding. Instead of answering only from generic training data, it pulls in your organization's own content through Microsoft Graph, real emails, documents, chats, and calendar entries. And just to be crystal clear, this is Microsoft 365 Copilot specifically, not any other vendor's assistant. Here's the mental model to carry into the exam and the job. Copilot is the model, the part that reasons and writes. Microsoft Graph is the layer that lets it find your data. And the user's Entra ID identity is what decides what data it's allowed to touch. So if you ask Copilot to summarize last week's project emails and draft a status update, it reads the actual threads that user can already see, and writes the draft from them. Before anyone can use Copilot, three things must line up. First, an eligible Microsoft 365 Copilot license, which is a paid add-on assigned to the user. Second, supported app versions. Copilot lives in current builds of the apps, so an out-of-date client simply won't show it. And third, a Cloud Entra ID account, because that identity is what Copilot uses to decide which data it can reach. Miss any one of these and Copilot just won't turn up. Now the golden rule, and the part security teams and exam writers care about most. Copilot never shows a user data they couldn't already access on their own. It honors the exact same permissions the user already has, using their identity through Microsoft Graph. It does not elevate anything. So Copilot itself isn't a permissions risk in that sense. But there's an important catch coming up on the next slide. Here's the catch. Many organizations have quietly overshared in SharePoint for years. Everyone links, wide open site access, permissions nobody remembers granting. Before Copilot, that content was hard to stumble across. After Copilot, a single prompt like "What's our pricing strategy?" can surface it instantly. Copilot didn't break the permissions, it just made loose permissions visible. So the lesson is simple: clean up oversharing before you roll Copilot out, working with your security team. Users and managers will ask, quite rightly, where their data goes. Under commercial data protection, your prompts, the data Copilot retrieves through Graph, and the responses it generates stay inside your Microsoft 365 service boundary, and are not used to train the underlying foundation models. Copilot also inherits your existing compliance controls, sensitivity labels, retention, and audit logging. Knowing this lets you calmly reassure people who are nervous about AI and their data. Let's do the hands-on part, assigning a license. In the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, go to Users, then Active Users, pick the person, open Licenses and Apps, tick Microsoft 365 Copilot, and save. For more than a handful of people you'd use group-based licensing or PowerShell instead, which scales far better. Remember this path, because no license assigned is the single most common reason Copilot doesn't appear for someone. Now the tickets you'll actually see. Copilot isn't showing up as almost always either no license assigned or an out-of-date app, so check both. Expectation management is huge. People expect magic and get a helpful but imperfect assistant. And hallucinations, Copilot can sound completely confident and still be wrong. The little PowerShell snippet here shows how you'd connect with the Graph SDK and check a user's licenses. Above all, coach users to treat every Copilot answer as a draft and verify it against the source. Finally, adoption. Better prompts get better results, So teach users to give Copilot a goal, some context, and the format they want, like draft a 3-bullet summary of this thread for my manager. Your Tier 2 role in a rollout is to confirm prerequisites, assign and track licenses, help the security team remediate oversharing, and field the first wave of tickets. So let's recap. Copilot is an LLM grounded in your data through graph. It respects existing permissions, oversharing is the real risk, and the data stays in your boundary. Your task: in a test tenant, assign a Copilot license to one user, confirm it appears in their Word in Teams, then write a one-page support note covering the Copilot isn't showing up checklist and how to coach users to verify outputs. Nice work, and I'll see you in the next lesson.